great. So magically, the chicken is now done, and we used our little pot holders. I always joke at my show, these are not lips, and they are not little cha-chas. They are actually pot holders, so they're perfect for taking the lid off of products like our rock crock or our cranberry covered baker. And I will go ahead and just put this in the sink. Now, we're going to be using that again. Is your counter heat safe, or should I use a trivet?
It is heat safe.
Okay, good. I didn't want to put something on it and then have a problem. So, so we have just cooked our chicken in the microwave in 7 to 8 minutes, okay? And then we're going to use my favorite salad choppers. Now, these are called salad choppers, but I have never used them for salad. We call them chicken choppers or meat choppers in our house. They are used for cooked meat, not necessarily raw meat. Because it has 2 blades on it, it really does a great job at dicing things up. Egg salad, potato salad, chicken, things like that. Do not use your metal in your rock crock, and I'll talk about the rock crock when we get to that. But basically, see how easy this is to chop up chicken? So I might then pass this to her and say, why don't you chop some chicken up for us? And you can have everybody take a turn with it. You can go around the room. Yeah, hold them facing you. Now put your hand in this way. Backwards is how I do it. And it's like lift and chop, lift and chop. Isn't that easy?
Really?
And see how moist that chicken is? I was talking to my sister about doing moist chicken. I have this great recipe called chicken curry salad. It's got cran raisins and green apples and celery, and it's delicious. And you can cook chicken in 8 minutes in the microwave. Now, do you see how juicy and moist that is? It is not dry. It is not rubbery. If you have the right tool, you can create a healthy meal in no time. So having the guests try those chicken choppers is really key, because you can't see how easy it is to use unless you've actually tried it. Now, I have a meat thermometer. If you're concerned about whether your chicken is done, you can always use a meat thermometer. We have a non-digital one now that's available in the catalog, so whatever works for you. We're going to then take this, and I'm going to dump all the chicken out of here, and I'm going to put it into our stainless steel bowl. So anybody here on the stainless steel bowls? Nobody? Oh my gosh, you're going to want these for Father's Day gift, and let me tell you why. This is one of the first things my husband wanted. They have silicone bottoms so that if you have a mixer on it or whatever, it is not moving. Okay? The second thing is they're heavy duty. The size of them is amazing. I don't know if any of you guys own the glass batter bowl. It's a classic. We've had it around forever. But this is double the size of our glass batter bowl. Our glass batter bowl is an 8-cup capacity. This is 16, and it is very lightweight. And do you notice the thumb hold? How many of you normally hold something against you when you're mixing or pouring, and then you've got gunk all over you if you're not wearing an apron? You can stick your thumb through this, wrap your fingers around it, and pour and scoop, and never feel like you're going to lose the pan at all. We also have these great black lids that sit inside, and they're actually down inside them so that you can stack things in the refrigerator when you're doing a barbecue or whatever like that. It's not the lids that bevel out and have a hard time with that. So we're going to go ahead and put our chicken in here. And I'm going to try to do this without splashing myself, because I didn't wear my apron. So, if I was doing an interactive show at this point, I would have some of my guests come up and try my next couple tools. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use the can opener. So I might say, who has the can opener on your chair? And somebody's going to go, me. I'm like, great, you're the lucky winner. Come on up. Let me show you how it works. We're going to open 2 cans of chicken broth. So I'll open the first one, explain how it works. You're going to be on the second one, okay? So Marcy will put you on. So our smooth edge can opener comes in 2 colors currently. Cobalt blue is the new hot color of the season, so we have a few products that are blue. Or you can get it in the standard white if you think that that's going to clash with your kitchen. Now, why do we need a smooth edge can opener? Let's start with that. You want a smooth edge can opener for a couple of reasons. If you're not washing the tops of your cans and you're using the type of can opener that goes down and punctures into your can, you could be putting bacteria and germs in your can. Yuck. Second of all, if you have to recycle and you have to wash your cans out, you don't want to cut yourself. They'll make sure that this isn't going to cut you. How many of you guys have scrapers or spatulas that have little nicks and dings on them? That's because you're scraping into a can that is not a smooth edge can opener. Last reason, my son, when he was 6 years ago, raced his sister to the front door and jumped over the trash, landed on a tuna can, and got 8 stitches in the bottom of his foot. So Novocaine does not work on the bottom of your foot. You need a smooth edge can opener. So we have one in our camping kit, I have one in my Pampered Chef kit, and I have 2 in my kitchen because we use them all the time. So things that you need to know. They don't go on the side of the can, they go on the top of the can. You turn the handle once and it actually grabs the can, okay? And then you just twist all the way around. You'll know you made it all the way around when it gets easy or it makes a little ding sound. There you go. We made it all around. So then you go back half a turn to let go of the can, and now is where I make a fool out of myself. I go peep, peep, peep. Do everybody see the bird beak on the end? Peep, peep, peep. The button pushes the bird beak. I do that because you're going to get home and you're not going to remember how to get the can off. I had one customer say, gosh, my thumbs hurt pushing the tops off the can, and so she wasn't at my show where I did the peep, peep. So see how smooth this is? I'm literally running my finger along the edge. Same thing on the inside of here. So super easy. We're going to put 2 cans of chicken broth in our cranberry covered baker while Marcy opens her can of chicken broth. So, what we're going to do after, nope, it goes, yep, there you go. Good job, Emily. Yep, that's right, just on the top, and now twist it once. Nope, yep, the right way. Go it again. Hard, harder. Yep, there you go. Now I grabbed it. Perfect. Now all the way around. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a box of spaghetti. You can use thin spaghetti or regular spaghetti. The amount of time that you cook it is a little bit different for thin spaghetti than regular spaghetti, so make sure that you look at the box. I have overcooked it before. So you're going to take a pound of spaghetti and you're going to break it into either the deep dish covered baker or the cranberry baker. Go back half a turn to let go. And then use the bird beak on the side. And then push the button, and ta-da! Marcy did it. Congratulations, Marcy. You win the prize. All right, so 2 cans of chicken broth, and the chicken broth is going to get absorbed into the pasta. Now, who's my recipe reader? Now, I forgot to tell you, for a new consultant, you want to delegate every part of your job out. So you would have somebody be your recipe reader. And what I would say is, recipe reader, you know, I'll say, who would like a couple extra tickets towards my door prize? And then if nobody volunteers, I go, here, Emily. Oh, here's the best thing. All right, ladies, who here is the bossiest person in the room? They're going to point to somebody. And they're going to go, oh my God, it's Emily. And they're like, great, Emily, you're my recipe reader. You get to boss me around all night long, okay? So when I look at you with deer in headlights of I don't know what I'm to do next, you just tell me what the next step is. And literally through the whole show, Marcy, you just go, all right, Emily, what's the first step? First step is blah, 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 blah. Great. Okay, Emily, what's the next step? She reads the recipe, she tells me what's going to do. So you don't have to figure out what to do. You just keep, and I always go, and if the recipe stinks, it's Emily's fault. And everybody laughs. Okay, so after I put the chicken broth in here, can you tell me actually
lemon
the steps?
juice.
Lemon juice. Okay, great. So we're going to take some lemons. For those of you who don't know, if you refrigerate your lemons, make sure that you take them out in advance and you can roll them on the counter a little bit. It'll help loosen the juices in it. Some people microwave them for a little bit, but I find that squirts way too much. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to get lemon from a lemon. Lemon juice from a lemon. First thing you're going to do is you're going to use our citrus press if you have one, and if you don't, I'm going to show you what comes in your kit that you can use. And the second thing we're going to talk about is our professional knife. So, most importantly, who here owns a professional knife? Nobody? Oh my gosh, let me tell you. A professional knife is like the difference between having a screwdriver and a power drill in your house. They both do the same job, but one will do it faster and easier. If you have a man around the house and you ask them to assemble a bookshelf for you, they are not going to grab the screwdriver, they're going to grab the power drill. I don't know why we women do not invest in a few products in our kitchen that will make our lives so much easier, but I'm telling you, if you had a man in the room here, he would tell you a good knife is worth its weight in gold. So I'm going to tell you what you're looking for in a good knife.
I've had several shows where people have said, oh yeah, I have Cutco.
Okay, so I say that is great because Cutco does have some professional grade knives, but just so you know, not all knives are professional. Oh, you have Henckels? Do you know how many little men are standing on the side of your knife? And they might say 1 or 2, and I go, great. Those are really good introductory lines that Henckels have, but you need, I believe, 5 men on your knife for it to be professional grade. So let me tell you what you're looking for when you're looking for a professional grade knife. First of all, you're looking for German forged steel. The grade of the steel determines the quality of the blade and the knife. So it'll also determine the price as well. You want to look for a knife that has a solid piece of metal. All the way through the shaft, ours is solid. It is not riveted handles. It is not a plastic handle. It is one solid piece, and we just spray wrap the black. The second thing is you want it to be weight balanced. When you open your hand like this, your knife should not lay to its side and it should not fall out of your hand. It should be weight balanced in your hand. Now, I have a bread knife that I use when I do the chicken parmesan soup in the microwave. The blade on that is about this long. It is weight balanced no matter how long that blade is to the handle. And the other thing you want to learn is when you're using a chef's knife or a utility knife like this that has a beveled blade, you want to use your L fingers. Now, I have teenagers, so I always say you use your loser fingers so you don't lose a finger, and you pinch the blade. So a lot of us hold our knives like this. You're really supposed to choke up and pinch the blade with your thumb and your finger. And you'll notice here on the back side, my finger's nowhere near the blade, okay? And the reason you do that is because you want to do what's called landing the plane when you're cutting with a angled knife like this. Landing the plane is the motion that you cut with. Down and forward, okay? Now, you can do that by keeping the tip on the board and taking your celery or carrot or whatever and actually feeding that into it, and then you're going to start looking like Rachel Ray. I was like, as soon as I learned that, I was like, oh my gosh, miracle. Okay, next thing you want to know, and you want to tell your customers too, is anytime you're cutting anything that is round, you want to use what's called the bridge motion, which means that you hold it and you put your hand underneath like a bridge, and you cut back and forth down through that. When you have professional grade knives, you want to hone your knives regularly, and when you guys get your catalogs on the knife page, you will see a honing tool has a little X inside it. Honing is different than sharpening. Okay, honing brings a knife. When you use a knife, it bends in one direction or another. It gets little barbs on it. So you want to hone it to bring it back into balance and take the barbs off. Sharpening actually takes metal off the blade, and if any of you have any of your grandfather's old knives that are super skinny, that's why. If you're going to sharpen your knives, I recommend that you just take them to a kitchen store in Concord where I live. They charge $6 to sharpen your knives. The reason I say that is because I met a guy who professionally sharpens knives, and he said depending upon the knife, it has to be sharpened at a different degree, 12 degrees, 17 degree, whatever it is. So I had no idea that there was more information about that than available. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, what? I think zest.
Zest lemons using zester to measure 1 teaspoon set aside.
Okay. So this is our microplane zester. This can be used for Parmesan cheese or for any type of hard cheeses, and it is also perfect for zesting. When you zest, you want to make sure that you don't get into the white pith of your citrus. When you do, that's the bitter part. So you just want to make one stripe over your lemon, your lime, your orange, so that you're not getting into that white part. And you can see how sharp and easy this is. Everything that Pampered Chef makes that has a blade will cut you. So you want to make sure that you're using it safely and that you're using the covers and you store them with the covers, because when you reach into your junk drawer, you might shred your fingers if you don't. And I'll give many examples about that. So how much of the lemon zest am I doing?
1 teaspoon.
Okay, so that's good. I've got enough of that. Okay, and then am I juicing the lemon?
Yes, you're juicing and you need a 1/4 cup.
Excellent. So we have some prep bowls. 1 cup prep bowls come with a little white glass lid. The glass lids are not dishwasher or microwave safe. You did not hear it from me. Mine go in the dishwasher because it is also a replaceable part. So I figure by the time it cracks, melts, or warps, for $1.25, I'll just buy some more. So a lot of you may not know that we do replacement parts, but I wanted to share that with you because there are a lot of products that we sell that you can just buy a replacement part if it breaks. So if you need that list, you just let me know. The prep bowls are glass, and they're etched glass, meaning that the numbers will never wear off no matter how many times they go through the dishwasher. These are measuring cups, 1/4, half cup, 3/4, or 1 cup to the top. This is perfect for portion control. And in my household, our covers actually say Mom, Dad, Seth, and Katie on them. And let me give you an example why. If you have teenagers, this will save so many arguments in your household. If you buy pistachios, or if you buy M&Ms, or you buy things like that, everybody gets an equal amount. It's portioned out. You have your name on it. That's what you eat. So when Mom comes home from her Pampered Chef show and she goes to get her peanut M&Ms, they better well be there because my name is on mine and nobody touches mine. So it really has helped a lot. We do them for prepping. I like to be like Emerald. You can prep all your stuff and just dump it in when you're cooking. And so we're going to use our citrus press. Now, again, I share all of my mistakes so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Although you look at this, it looks like you would put the lemon in this way, correct? That's what I did the first time before I read the use and care card, which does come with every product. So just so you know, you usually get a recipe, but you also get instructions on how to use all of your tools.
I would have put it in that way too.
Yeah, me too, because I thought I knew what I was doing. So I share all of my idiotic mistakes because then you all don't have to make that same one. You can make a different one and tell me at our next show. Now, you might have noticed that I cut the nub off the tip of the lemon just because it was a little big and it makes it easier to squish. But look at how much juice you get from 1/2 of 1 lemon. And did you notice not a single seed ended up in there?
Wow.
Just comes right out and it inverts the entire lemon. So this summer, by the way, this month in May is the Quick Stir gallon size Quick Stir pitcher that you can get at 60% off if you host a show this month. And it's perfect all summer long. That will make homemade lemonade. I always ask at my shows, how many of you guys go to the Hopkinton or Deerfield or Sandwich Fair and pay $3 for fresh lemonade? You can make homemade lemonade for $3 for like 2 gallons worth. It's crazy. So how much lemon am I doing on that? A quarter cup, I believe.
Yes, a quarter cup.
So that was 1 lemon and did a quarter cup. So we didn't even need the second lemon. Okay, so next step, I think we're dumping the lemon juice in with the chicken broth. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And then we're microwaving it covered on or covered off?
Covered.
Covered.
11 to 13 minutes or until most liquid is absorbed.
Okay.
Stirring once half wet.
Okay, so we're going to do 6 minutes and then we're going to start. It is very important that you ask 2 questions of your hostess. First of all, does she have a microwave with a turntable? Because none of these recipes that we do work very well if the turntable is not working. I forgot to ask that a couple times. Second question you want to ask is the size of her microwave, because if she takes an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and sticks it into the microwave and it rotates all the way around and has an inch on all sides, then it'll fit your cranberry covered baker, because it is 9.5 by 12.5 or something like that. So that's a good gauge for whether or not it will fit. Okay, so in the meantime, we're going to talk about our manual food processor. This is one of those must-have products. We talked about power tools. This tool here has 3 blades. They're at 3 different levels inside, and the reason for that is when you see me cutting herbs, any type of herbs, if you cut it with a knife, they kind of get slimy and kind of get crunched down. When you cut it with the manual food processor, they will fluff up. It has silicone base on the bottom, so again, it's not moving across the counter when you're pushing on it. It is a 3-cup capacity, and again, it requires no electricity. And why is that important? That's important because if you've ever had an electric food processor and you turn it on and you push the button, it's like chop and then puree. You have no in-between stages where you can decide if you want your salsa chunky. So it's so easy to use. I'm going to let you guys all try it. I'll show you how it works. You put one hand on this side and you want to pump it up and down. One of the things you want to make sure is that the handle comes all the way up. I find a lot of people trying to do this. If you do full punches, it lets the blade spin a full rotation, and speed is your friend. So why don't you try chopping some of that up? Chop, chop, chop a few times. We can use this for hummus. We can use this for, I do tuna fish, so I do onions and celery in the bottom, 2 cans of tuna, mayo, salt, pepper, done. You can use this for fresh fruit salsa. If you have a kid-friendly show you'd like to do, you have a bunch of young kids, we can make fruit salsa in this with our pineapple wedge or our mango wedge or strawberries, kiwis, apples, you name it in here. We eat it with cinnamon chips, and we serve them in our 1-cup prep bowl so everybody can double dip. So lots of great ideas with this. If you like to make pesto, if you know anybody who has a small baby, this is perfect for food processing when they get older, because you want to make the food chunkier and chunkier the more they can swallow. So this is a great tool for homemade baby food. Okay, what's our next part of our recipe?
To cut the tomatoes in half.
Okay, great. So I'm going to tell you 2 different ways of doing the tomatoes. I'll chunk my tomatoes in here, but if you have an appetizer plate, one of the things that I love to use is if you have a small appetizer plate or 2 of them, you can put your tomatoes on one plate. Do you have another one that matches this? Same size?
I don't, but these 2 are the same
Oh, those
size.
2 match. Okay, great. So Pampered Chef makes some simple addition appetizer plates, and I'll just show you the idea. I don't have my long bread knife in here, but the idea is that you take 2 plates. Okay, those are 2, because those are sandwich plates. Appetizer plates are a little less concaved, so you would take one like this, and then the next one would go on top, and there would be a little space between the 2, and then you would take your hand and you would put it on top so that the blade isn't anywhere near it, and then you take a long knife and you just slice right between the 2 plates, and it'll slice the whole plate of tomatoes right in half. So if you have to do a fast summer salad this summer, rather than sitting here and going choppity choppity chop, you got to do it that way. It's great. I'll show it to you sometime when I bring my 2 little white appetizer plates in, but it's great. In the meantime, you can cut them with a knife, or you can chunk them in our manual food processor, which is what I always like to do because it's fast and easy. Now, think about doing onions in this, ladies. No more crying because the cover's on it. Overfilling will make it hard to chop. So, okay, what's the next part on our recipe?
Grate the Parmesan.
Excellent. Okay, so we have a couple different grading tools that Pampered Chef provides for you. We have a coarse or a fine grater, microplane grater. So I want you all to pay attention for just a quick second because you're going to call me and you're going to say, I can't get it open, or you're going to snap it because you're going to break it. So here's what you need to know. You want to hold it in your right hand and you want to put your thumb on the button. And then you want to push because it's a spring-loaded handle. Does everybody see how it spring loads? So now you can go into TP mode if you want to grate over a plate, or like me, I'm too lazy to do that. I grate right over my mac and cheese. I just, who grates on a plate? That's one more dish, right? So I grate right over whatever I'm cooking. Now, how many of you guys have one of those old box graters that you have to stick your hand up inside and clean and stuff like that? Yeah, no. Top shelf, dishwasher safe, super easy. You can just stick it right in. It has this great plastic sheath. I always recommend that you store it with that because, again, you reach into the drawer, you're going to shred your fingers. So this is a coarse grater for things like zucchini, carrot cake, mozzarella cheese, softer cheeses. We have another one that looks just like this that is a fine grater that has the same type of grating on here, which can be used as a zester, but for harder cheeses like Parmesan or Romano. It also comes, the fine grater comes with a carrying case where you can pull the top out and you can sprinkle walnuts or chocolate chips in there, put the carrying case on it so your fingers aren't going to get all chunked, and you can grate chocolate on the top of a cake and it looks so beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and grate some Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to go ahead and grate it into a 1-cup prep bowl. And if you will tell me after my grating of my cheese what the next step is.
Okay, grate Parmesan cheese, processed garlic, Parmesan, parsley, zest, oil, and pepper in food processor until parsley is finely chopped.
Perfect. Okay, so see how nice and fine this is? It's like little snowflakes. So this cheese grater is really wonderful for that. Yeah, and it's super duper sharp. So I'm just going to pass this to you while I go check and stir our thing, and you can just keep grating. You can never have too much. I don't know, a couple ounces I think is what it said, but
Grate parsley, cuts me. Oh, 1 ounce.
1 ounce. So, I don't know, about a half a cup or so. So we are going to stir our pasta because we're about halfway through. And just make sure it doesn't stick. I'm using our new nylon spaghetti fork. And we're going to keep microwaving that while it continues to cook. And we're going to come back over and we're going to take our manual food processor, which I did the tomatoes. So we're supposed to do tomatoes separately, right? So, because we're just going to toss those in after. So, all right. So, put those in here. So we're going to put a little bit of oil. Now, if you're measuring your oil, there are a couple different ways that you can measure oil. Our measure all cup. Who here is a baker? Loves to bake. Okay, you have got to have this tool. Anytime that you use mayonnaise, shortening, Karo syrup, anything, peanut butter, anything that is sticky and gooey, you push down the center of this tool, and then you put the peanut butter in it, and then you can see whether you have an air pocket, so you can get the air pockets out. And how hard is it to get into a measuring cup and get it back out? Now you just go like that, and it goes pop right into your pan. Scrape the top off, easy to clean, and it also measures, blue is for liquids, okay? So you can measure that. Here's my favorite use of this. How many times do you have a recipe that calls for 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise? Try cramming a tablespoon of mayonnaise in here and getting it all back out. Total pain. This does tablespoons and teaspoons on here, so you can just push it down just a little bit, get it complete to the top, and pops right out.
That's really nice.
Really, really great tool. So, by the way, I was talking to you about the measuring spoons. So let me just show you a little bit about our measuring spoons. They adjust from 1 teaspoon to a tablespoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon all the way to 1 teaspoon. I did have a customer say that she really loved them, but she thought they were a pain to clean. And I said, no, honey, you just pull them apart and stick them in your dishwasher. And she was like, oh! So she obviously was not at my show because I talk about that. So just so that you know, as a good consultant, you want to be telling them the features and the benefits of every tool so that they understand how to use it, why it's so great. and why to use it. So we're going to put this, we're going to put our parsley back in here, we're going to shoot some garlic in here. All right, so there are a couple different ways that you can eat garlic. Garlic is so healthy for you. You should be buying garlic whole, okay? Do not buy the jarred garlic, people. Oh my gosh. It has a vinegary taste to it. It is like the difference between having powdered garlic salt and having real fresh garlic. Garlic has oils in the skin, so you don't need to peel the skin to use the garlic press, okay? No more smelling like garlic. You can just take the garlic, put it into the hopper, turn it down, use 2 hands, aim it, by the way, because I've shot people with garlic, and push down. It'll crunch the garlic through. I use a knife. There is a really cute little fancy tool, which is always in the bottom of my junk drawer, which sits right here so nicely. It has a little hook on one end, and that's to pull the skin out if it doesn't already come out on the hopper. And it also has pokey sides for cleaning. It looks like a little Barbie hairbrush. It's really great. My husband always laughs at me. He goes, pokey side, that's really technical. I'm like, hey, the ladies that I cook with, they understand what the pokey side means, okay? So, again, I would have one of my guests try that. I'm always cooking with a knife, so I always just flick the skin out. So you saw the first time that the skin actually came out on the top of the hopper, and you can just flick it into the trash. But super easy, and it's ergonomic for your hands. Now, Pampered Chef products last forever, let me tell you. Everything has a product warranty, whether it's 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, or lifetime. Our knives and our cookware are a lifetime. My garlic press at home is 22 years old this year.
Wow.
That was one of my very first tools I have ever purchased. So it lasts a really long time. They're built, they're quality products. I was going to show you too another way of using the lemon if you do not have a citrus press. So another way of using your lemon is to take your whisk, and you want to just hold it up towards the top and hold it tight, and then you just want to twist inside the lemon. You're going to have to take the seeds out, but it's another fast way of getting all of your juice out of a lemon. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you about the Pampered Chef whisk, since I'm holding it and talking about it. Stainless steel. It does not have the ends that are soldered together, which is important because that creates more air. That means your mousse and all your other items will get fluffier. It also has a solid handle, so the handle when you're whisking isn't going to vibrate your hand. So it works really well. And when you pull your tines apart, they'll all fall back into place. I was washing my hands because I have a paper cut. And the lemon juice is stinging. Okay, so when you pull, let's say you get cream cheese or something stuck in here, you can pull it apart, whisk it out, and all the tines go back into the same place. That you're not going to find that with a whisk elsewhere. So Pampered Chef just always has a little bit of a design that is above everything else. Okay, so parsley, garlic, citrus, what else? And oil, right?
Yep, finely chop and then mix everything.
So we're going to blend that together, and when it comes out, we're going to go ahead and add this with our broccoli and our chicken that we chopped up, and our tomatoes, and dinner is going to be ready, and we're going to move right on to our dessert recipe. So today, we're going to use the Rock Crock, and I just want to tell you about that product.